Hello, boys and girls.
Oh, hello, boys and girls.
Last episode, things got
Things were
steamy.
getting- Yeah,
Things
oh,
are
yeah.
gonna continue getting steamy. Would you like to read?
Although
You
maybe with
haven't
a
read this.
blindfold on.
Oh yeah, with a blindfold.
Maybe,
Yeah.
you know. That teasing edge to Lily's voice, punctuated by her breathing, she never seems to lose her ability to take control of a situation.
You really are reading this like the news, aren't you?
Well, it's just to try and make it a bit less uncomfortable for myself.
Bro, mate, we're both uncomfortable at this point.
I know, which is why I'm trying to read it like the news.
I don't understand. Like, people would go round to their mates' houses and watch porn together on tapes.
When? No, it's not something I ever... Well, maybe when we were kids, like, looking up, like, the naughty channels or whatever, like, Babe Station.
No.
or
I
whatever,
feel like here's the thing, right? I feel like with people from our generation, it definitely became more of a private thing because porn is
Yes.
just accessible on your phone, right? Whereas before, the
Well,
only way
yeah.
you could get porn was by
In
through
the before
buying a
times.
magazine or getting a
B, renting a video
VHS,
or something. Yeah.
renting
yeah.
a video, right? And you'd always get that one weird friend who'd be like, "Yo,
Hey man, you
let
want
me."
to come around and watch Deep Sluts 9 with me, please?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Deep Sluts 9. Oh.
That probably is the name of a porn, but I was thinking Deep Space 9, and it just came to me.
Deep Sluts. No, that's
Yeah,
pretty good, man. Nice one.
Anyway,
Nice.
but this time,
yeah, but I just don't get
this
it.
one time.
Yeah.
No, I know. I just don't get it either.
Hiss out. What are you?
What are you? I slide my hands underneath her, soft. There shouldn't have been a comma there, I don't think. I slide my hands underneath her, soft silken skin pressing into my hands as I gently raise her body with a measure of difficulty. Actually,
Take
no,
it
yeah, that
easy,
comma makes
buddy.
sense. While I wouldn't describe her as heavy, her height makes her more than a handful to try and lift. It only takes a couple of carefully placed steps to feel the edge of her bed against my legs, my lowering of Lily onto her sheets just as gentle as when I raised her. Your bed will be more comfortable than the floor, right?
Always the. I feel so weird, aren't you?
Fucking let's have sex on the bed for a change, my lady.
Yeah.
I quickly run my hands down Lily's long, shapely legs, their allure far from diminished without the luxury of sight, and pull off her pajama shorts and underwear for her ankle. I have no idea where those just went. Doesn't
it's
matter.
fine.
Well, I guess it doesn't matter. They'll be around somewhere. With a minimum of fuss, I shuffle down my own pajama trousers and underwear, positioning myself between her legs, or at least where I think is between her legs. See if he's just between her and the wall, and he's just going hard on the bed. It's like, oh yeah,
Fucking
you enjoying that? Like, it's all move
rubbing
over,
his dick
please.
up on the plaster, like, oh. Meanwhile, she's just
more
like,
in the space between, like between the bed and the wall. He's like, oh yeah, that's a good groove. No.
oh,
With one hand
boy.
on her bed to steady myself, my right moves tentatively downwards. Oh, my left. Okay. Whoops. My first contact with her is my palm clumsily meeting the front of her nose. Oh! She giggles a little before turning her head sideways, taking my cue. I gently cradle her cheek and use my thumb to feel the contours of her face, as she so often does with me.
Yeah, that was a proper, like, Team America fucking, like, shh.
Yeah. Just like, boom. This would be a lot easier if she wasn't moving her face into my hand, but the feeling of her nuzzling it into it is nice. I swallow to try and steady myself, taking my other hand to the bed, and use it to guide myself. And, as soon as I feel her warmth around me, I quickly realize just how turned on I am.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
With my sight gone, I'm free to concentrate far more on my other senses, including tactile feeling. This entire experience feels more vivid, more intense than it's been before. I slowly start to move my hips back and forth, my heart beating wildly in excitement. I feel Lily's eyes clenching shut, the movement of her cheek under my thumb reminding me of the gentle hold I have on the side of her face. It's hard to stop myself from being completely overwhelmed. It's hard to think that this is what sex is usually like for her, experienced through every sense but the one I hold dearest. From her cheek to her neck, I begin to slide my hand downwards to take in the feeling of her body. The contours of her collarbone, the light dew resting on her skin. My sense of smell is stimulated by the scent of her sweat and mine hanging in the air. Even the ambient smell, noticeably different from that of my own room, adds to the feeling. Oh, when I move my hand to her supple breast, her soft mewling fills my ears along with the sound of her act. I hate that word.
Mewling.
Hate it.
What does it even mean?
It's the noise like a kitten makes. It's like... All right, well, you've just made it a bit better, but it's still not it's still not a word I'd use. The skin under my hand moves back and forth with each thrust, my grip on it tightening as my lust for the near-naked body of Lily before me grows. I can even feel her small nipple against my palm. My hand slides further, my fingers pluck through the silk of her pajama top. Her whimpering sounds turn to moans as she fills with the same pleasure as I. I can feel my heart beating loudly in my chest, and her own beating underneath my hand. I can feel her clasp my wrists, their grips surprise. I feel her hands clasp. I can't even read anymore.
Yeah.
I can feel her hands clasp my wrists, their grip surprisingly tight as her chest rises in overwhelming pleasure.
I feel like we're reading this like fucking Victorian woman, like, oh goodness.
My god. I mean, it's not exactly Jackanory here, Julian. You
no,
know,
it's not. Read it like, oh mate, read it like Jackanory.
More. I want
more.
No,
no, this is not good.
Oh no, I can feel my chest tightening as I rock back and forth frantically.
Fuck.
Both of us entirely taken with ourselves. He said, read it like Jackanory. Nothing that unusual. I just need to take deeper breaths to steady myself. Oh no. This feeling is just normal. You picked a really bad time to tell me to read it like Jackanory. This isn't.
Stop.
I can't. This pain is too much.
Yeah, stop.
Stop. I stumble backwards from Lily with unseemly haste, clumsily hitting the back of my foot against the table and falling to the ground with an unceremonious crash. That's probably not going to do your heart any favors either. Breathing wildly, I frantically scrape at the rib and over my eyes as I lay on my back. I have to get this off. In comes Rachel. Nope, not yet. For a moment, everything goes blank. As the rush of newfound light assaults my eyes, my breathing slows from the blink of hyperventilation. Seconds pass, and I carefully measure out the rhythm of my heartbeats with every ounce of concentration I can muster. I think that's all the sexy talk over. Thank you for joining us. Back to you in the studio. John Crooks, STV News. My heart is normal. It's back to normal. My body feels utterly bizarre as I lay dazed on the floor looking at the ceiling. The adrenaline from before is still pouring through my veins, but my mind is completely exhausted. I prop myself up as I hear Lily getting off the bed and coming towards me. Oh.
Hisso? Are you okay, Hisso?
I'm fine, Lily. I'm fine. She gives a sigh of relief, her worried expression collapsing. Her face afterward is the very last I'd ever wanted to see from her. It's a face I detected when I first saw my parents in the hospital all those months ago. Pity. Lily pities me. She doesn't pity you.
No,
She's
she
concerned
doesn't.
about you because she loves you, you clown. I just close my eyes and turn away, powerless. I feel like throwing up. I can hear the sound of Lily moving, bending to herself. The ruffling of her clothing being pulled back on after a moment of searching, just barely audible. Sorry. She slowly shakes her head as she finishes buttoning up her top. Her kind smile looks so fragile, so delicate, that it makes my heart sink. Approaching carefully, she feels at the edge of the low table before taking a seat next to me, putting her arms around my chest.
I'm sorry, Hisso. I shouldn't have pushed my desires onto you.
Don't blame yourself. You don't need to apologize. I'd normally be fine. You've seen that much before. I guess I shouldn't have tried to push myself so far.
Nah.
Yeah. My
So,
eyelids
no
feel heavy.
thrusting for you.
No thrusting, because it sets the heart off. It's bad for
Yep.
the old ticker.
That's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah,
you know?
there's other ways around it, you know?
Absolutely. Calmly sitting next to her like this is probably letting the adrenaline work itself out of my system. And letting my mind relax.
So that's why you never took the lead.
Yeah. I guess it's a good thing you like to, huh? The joke seems to lighten her expression a little. A fact which helps me feel less unease about my unreliable self. Lily's head comes to rest on my shoulder as I struggle to keep my eyes open, with more difficulty after each blink. I feel completely drained.
It's okay, Hisao. It's all okay.
No sooner does she say this than a small, quiet tune escapes her lips. Entirely too tired to think. All I can do is listen to her soft humming. I think it's just the way that some of the phrases sit, or the text, or something. Maybe I'm looking at it too much, but my God, sometimes I read a sentence and I'm like, is that what that says? And sometimes, right enough, I go back and I'm like, no, that is what that says, or rather, that's not what that says. But sometimes you read it and you're like, what? What did I just say? That doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I'm just overthinking it. It's a soft, almost melancholic tune. It sounds familiar, but the more I try to remember its origin, the less I seem to be able to concentrate. The feeling and scent of her head gently resting on my shoulder, and her warm body against my side are soothing. The soft humming of her voice, too, relaxes my mind as much as her warmth relaxes my muscles. Maybe it's just my inflections. That might be where I'm letting myself down. This singular, quiet moment. After all this fracas, it makes me realize just how exhausted I've become. I can feel my eyelids slowly becoming heavier and heavier. Even with the chaos of before, I wish this moment would last forever. Lily and I together, sharing a single, solitary occasion together, just as we used to. But if that's the case, why does she feel further away than she's ever felt before?
Oh,
Do you know why,
no.
Julian?
Oh, is it because she feels like she can't have a romantic relationship with you because she might kill you? Is that the problem? Because it shouldn't be.
No.
Is she
not.
moving away to Scotland forever?
You think somebody who's become so acclimatized and so used to their own disability and that knows her own limits and understands that those exist in other people, do you think she'd be the kind of gal to be like, listen man, you've got a dicky heart, I'm not going to raid you or be with you because you might die? Like, that doesn't really.
I don't know, man.
She cares a lot about him, and I know you're just guessing, but like, I'm just saying, I don't know if that's the most from what we know. I don't know if that makes sense. The loud clatter of books falling into the return slot abruptly breaks the grip of silence over the school library. It's become a habit for me to come to the library at least once a week. Not only does the reading itself keep me busy, but discussing books with Hanako and Lily also does. Obviously startled, Yuko suddenly twists towards the direction of the noise. I'd have thought her used to people dropping books by now, since she does work here.
It's alright, don't worry about it.
I know.
Oh, hello, Hisao. Back again.
It takes me a moment to respond. My mind's still distracted by the familiar melody of Lily's humming that's hardly left my ears in the several days it's been since I fell asleep to it. Oh, yeah.
Christ.
Just returning some books I borrowed.
Sorry, my cat is scratching me.
Oh,
Hey,
why?
Fuck off! Can you stop being an asshole? I'll ground you.
Viewers at home, if you can't tell already, Julian's very much a dog person.
Yes. Man, I'm so looking forward to getting the garden done and getting a dog. So then I at
okay.
least have somebody to take my side on this.
Mm.
You know, I could have somebody keeping guard,
Keeping guard.
telling the cats to fuck. It's just you. It's just you. You're nice.
She's a wee wido, man.
She's
You
a
know,
wido,
there's nothing to be
but
done about it.
she's a nice wido. You know, she's the kind of wido that you still go to the pub with. Do you know what I mean? Because they're a good laugh.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess.
But it doesn't mean that, you know, they're still a wido.
Still a wido. She casts her eyes downwards, presumably to the bin the books dropped into.
You're a heavy reader, aren't you? And Hazel, you're a heavy
that's
wido,
nice.
aren't you? Go away.
She is a heavy wido. It's become a bit of a routine now. Passes the time, at least.
I wish I had free time to pass.
From small talk to depression in less than 5 seconds. I think that's a new record for her. She seems a bit down in general today, even compared to normal. Considering she has to work 2 jobs just to support herself, I could see how that would take a toll on her lifestyle. Come to think of it, the pay for her job here can't be all that bad. The idea of staff in such a prestigious private school going hungry strikes me as counterintuitive. Working 2 jobs must take a lot of time. I'd probably never manage it.
You're lucky being a student. Do you think you'll be able to go to university?
If she's asking, then I guess that's the expected result of having this kind of education. Private schools like this don't exactly come cheap. I guess. I have the money, I think. I've got plans which will require going to one, and my grades are good enough. It's more of a matter of how I'll pay to do so.
Universities cost so much that I'm having to work 2 jobs to afford to enter it. Paying for daily expenses too makes it a lot harder. Oh, Yuko. You keep going, right?
Yeah.
Don't
keep on trucking.
Keep on trucking. If you're ready this much though, that means you're doing well in school, right? If you're reading.
See? It's in Comic Sans and it's still hard to read. Like, what the hell?
It's not even Comic Sans.
Maybe
It's what is
it's
it?
close
It's
enough.
Playtime with Hot Toddies. That's what it's called.
What?
I'm pretty sure it is.
It's not called Playtime with Hot Toddies.
Yes.
Please.
Yes.
No, there's not a font called Playtime with Hot Toddies.
It is. I had to download it. I know because I made the fucking thumbnails. I know. I had to download
it. Did they make a new font?
People make fonts all the time. Dude, you know this. Mate, how do you think I made the thumbnails? I downloaded, for the Wind Waker, for example, I downloaded a Wind Waker font. I downloaded a Star Wars font.
I just assumed that the people who made this game wouldn't have made their own font.
And I think it's just a font that's out there. They just decided to use it.
Which raises even more questions. Why would you make a font and call it Playtime Hot Toddy?
Playtime with Hot Toddies.
Even worse. Like, what does that mean? What?
I don't know.
I
don't know.
Okay. Anyway, interesting logical jump. Not an altogether wrong one, though.
It might be, or it might, yeah. Anyway.
I suppose so. I didn't find any of the exams very hard, aside from maybe 1 or 2. Do you mind if I ask what studies you're pursuing in university? Yuko appears to genuinely brighten at the question. Bet you it's fucking...
Anthropology. To be specific,
Oh.
I'm specialising in the history of classical era Athenian civilization and democracy. Ooh!
Whoa! Ooh la la!
I love that shit.
She really seems to know her stuff. Such enthusiasm is to be admired, and it's nice to see her genuinely excited about something.
Really want to go to Greece, man. Just to see all the sights. All of it.
All of it. I guess even somebody like Yuko can be happy if she has a visible road ahead of her.
Oh.
That's good to hear. If you... Both of us jump at the sudden interruption coming from my pocket.
Oh, hey, Merv.
Hey, Merv. Apologising profusely and quickly shuffling into the hallway as I fumble with the cover of my mobile phone, I glance at the screen. Weird. It's a mobile number I don't recognise. Considering I can count the number of people with my number on one hand, I briefly wonder whether it's some telemarketer that lucked out.
Hello? You sound like Kai speaking.
Jeez, pick up faster next time. Anyway, guess who? Oh.
It only takes me a second to recognize the distinctly deep, brusque voice.
Oh.
Hey, Misha.
Jeez, pick up faster next time. Anyway, guess who? Sorry.
Hey, Misha. Didn't expect you to call me.
Huh? You actually think I sound like her?
Yeah.
Not at all, Akira. I don't remember giving you my number, though, so I thought I'd mess with you.
Oh, that? I got Lilly to give it to me. Not hard.
She positively brims with pride at the statement. She's trying to get me caught up in her pace, I know. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised that the two would share my number, though, given how close they are.
So, what's up?
You free right now?
I guess. Why?
He's at fucking school.
Could you meet me at the park in town? I just want to talk to you about some stuff.
Is that an invitation to a date?
What? Of course not.
She suddenly sounds crestfallen, her previous teasing nature having instantaneously left. It seems strange for her.
Shit. Oh no.
Anyway, I don't see why not. When do you want to meet?
My heart's sinking. I don't know where this is going. Oh, kind of nowish?
Wait, right now? But it's...
Oh no.
The dead silence suddenly coming from the phone announces the fact that she has unceremoniously hung up. For a long time, I just stand there, staring at the call ended message on my screen while replaying the conversation in my head, and staring at Merv.
What the hell, Akira?
Merv, what should we do, man? Okay. Too late.
Throwing a glance up and down the street, I cross the road and step into the park. We'll never know. We're just going to have to figure it out.
Yeah.
I've learned to pace myself on such walks, mostly because Lily's slower speed during our forays into town means that I have to consciously slow myself down. That aside, I hope Akira didn't expect me to be immediately prompt. There's just so many nice stills in this game, like this one. Yeah. Yeah. Like, yeah, it's just beautiful.
Yeah, man.
It takes only a couple of seconds to spot her, waiting on a bench with a can of beer in her hand. The look she gives me as I walk up lacks any hint of acknowledgement or greeting.
What's with that look? I needn't have come, you know.
I knew you would. You're that kind of person, after all.
Oh. I lower my brow at her remark as she disposes of the can, emptied by the time I arrived, and a metallic clatter rings out. Akira takes a seat on the old wooden bench, and I follow her lead. She takes another can of beer from beside her and opens it before speaking, taking a large gulp. She seems to really like that stuff. Give one to Hisao.
I suppose I don't need to ask what this is about, or rather, who it's about.
I heard from Lilly that you asked about our family.
They share more than numbers, that's for sure. I'd probably be very worried right now if it weren't for the total lack of malice in her voice. Rather, her tone sounds almost wistful.
Idle curiosity, mostly. I have to admit, I'd never have guessed you two were half Scottish.
She gives a wry chuckle of amusement.
I've heard that before, trust me.
Small smile falls from her face, her eyes looking ahead distantly. Aside from the occasional elderly couple talking as they slowly walk the meandering paths and the odd aging car, it's pleasantly quiet.
She didn't tell you everything, though, did she?
It was pretty brief. Your parents live in Scotland, she hasn't met them since she was 12, and she wants to meet them again.
It's always surprised me how devoted she is to her parents for all the good they did us.
The way she says it sounds almost derisive. She gives a small sigh, as if to quickly brush the feelings away.
Why do you think they left, Hisao?
Why do I think they left? From what Lily told me, it was because of work. I guess a pretty decently paying job was involved as well, given the way your parents seem to live. So Lily went to a private school, and that's why she carries herself with the airs and graces of the upper class, the bourgeoisie, who are repressing the working class, us, the proletariat. And only when the workers of the world
God,
unite and
that's
rise.
enough.
Sorry.
That's enough. That's enough propaganda. Thank you.
Not propaganda, it's the truth.
Oh, yeah. Since the business in Inverness boomed, our father decided to move directly to the same city as its headquarters. That's just the conclusion I thought you'd come to, though. You're too good-natured.
Do you think their parents own like a Loch Ness monster, like tour guide? And they're like, business is booming.
Hi, over here you can see. Oh, never mind. Oh, shut up. Shut up, Julian. That's just 2021. It's not 1921. You can't make those kind of jokes anymore.
No. You're quite right.
You don't think they left for their career?
I'm sitting here bitching to you about it. What do you think? Yamaku Academy. I've always felt that place was kind of creepy. Like it was an isolated hideaway for those proper society doesn't want to see nor hear. It probably just through the fact that Lily wasn't old enough to be shoved there by the time they left.
A long silence follows her abrupt and very harsh criticism of her own parents and Yamaku. Lily's blindness is hardly something that could be so simply ignored for a high-class family attempting to keep up appearances, much less so when a lucrative offer is on the table. Eventually, Akira gives a derisive snort, her feelings coming to a head.
Moving to secure a financial future with his new job posting. Even at the time, I hardly believed it.
Not wanting to simply be an avenue for her venting, I gently tried to steer the discussion.
So you stayed in Japan with Lily then?
Either I stayed with her, or she went to live with an ailing grandmother and grandfather.
What about Shizune's family? If you're cousins, then...
Our fathers hate each other. I'd have been more than happy to tell them to go screw themselves and live with them anyway, but Lily wouldn't have wanted that. I'd also had an offer for a job by then, so we did our best to keep our parents' house in proper shape and try to continue our lives as if they'd never left.
So you just lived by yourselves?
Ooh. Basically. Lily had school and I had my job, so we weren't exactly languishing. With her schooling, her study, and having to do chores while I worked, though, I can't help feeling like I failed her. In the end, I tried to be there for her and screwed it up. Expecting a 19-year-old to be a mother for a blind child, it's ridiculous. Yeah, it is.
So, yeah, it is. It is. Lily and Akira lived alone after their parents moved, with Lily largely taking care of herself. I guess that explains her apparent independence compared to many in Yamaku. I may have lived alone.
What? What are you laughing at?
The time since my parents both worked. But that's just something else entirely. Sorry, I wasn't sure if things had stuck. So I was just kind of sitting, like, just being quiet, like, because on my end there was a bit of a delay between when I finished the sentence.
There was a huge delay.
Next slide, so I was just trying to make sure that
the way you read that line was like.
And then it was like, okay, that's all.
Yeah, the way you read that line.
But I think there is quite a lot along the way.
Yeah. It's starting to stabilize a little bit now. Would you mind? I'm gonna cut this. Would you mind just reading that I may have lived alone, because it was like I may have lived alone much of the time. So.
Yeah. I may have lived alone much of the time since my parents both worked, but that's just something else entirely.
Sorry for making you listen to my moaning, Hisao.
I don't mind at all, but do you mind if I ask why you're telling me all this?
You always were curious. Context, I suppose. Life isn't a fairy tale, Hisao. You're damn right. Some people have to learn that the hard way. Yup. True.
She takes a long drink from the can in her hand, her face becoming more depressed than distant.
I broke up with my boyfriend a few days ago. After I leave, we're not going to be able to see each other again. But that's how life is. You can't just set your life up and expect it to stay that way forever. Sometimes stuff happens that you have to roll with, even if that means hurting yourself or others.
She takes a long breath before looking up at the bright orange sky.
Damn. If I smoked, I could take a nice long drag right about now and look kind of cool.
Yeah, she's right. Good thing she's got beer to drink.
Yeah.
I want to respond, to help her in whatever way I can, but I feel utterly useless. This kind of situation is one I've never been in, and I simply don't have the experience to say anything meaningful to comfort her. Akira looks over and evidently picks up on this, much to my embarrassment.
I must look pretty pathetic right now, whining about this to someone I barely know.
Hardly. And I'm pretty much an expert on looking pathetic.
She gives a chuckle, the act feeling like a personal victory for me.
You're a good kid, Hisao. When I said that I approved of you being with my sister, I wasn't joking or just being nice.
She picks herself up off the seat with a grunt, one that seems ill-fitting given her age, and throws the now empty can into the bin after one last swig.
And... next episode. Sorry, I couldn't think of a clever way to finish the episode.
Oh my god, Julian, you don't have to be clever about it. You could just do what they do in Katawa Shoujo and just be like, and with that, it's time to end the episode. You know? Doesn't have to be.
But I need to push
You're not
myself.
Johnny Carson, you know? You're not Bob Hope. You ain't Conan O'Brien.
Well, fine, I'll just be boring then. I won't try to push
Well, no
myself.
one's saying okay, try and push yourself. Off you
Yeah,
go.
that's what I'm trying to do. Anyway, see you all next time. Do the things. Bye.
That was awful. Part-timers, we do this part-time. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe.